Hello, this is US Merchant 101. I'm here to show you guys the TurboGrafx 16 in all its glory. Most of these games were made in 1988 to 1989 to even 1990. And the reason why a lot of people haven't heard about this is because the Nintendo took over and stole its thunder, really. The Nintendo came out 4 years after the TurboGrafx, but people back then thought video games were a fad and they were just gonna flare up and then die out immediately. And with Atari, what they did was they made so many bad games that people got tired of spending their money on games that were turning out to be garbage. If you don't believe me, look at the E.T. game for the Atari. It is probably the worst game you ever see. There's your E.T. and you're made of five pixelated blocks that are like an inch by an inch. And Atari, a lot of people just decided to make these quick games so they could get in on the hype and make money. And what they did was the reverse of what people wanted to happen. They almost killed the video gaming industry. But when the TurboGrafx came out, they had these independent developers, and they started off like Hudson did, and they made these fantastic games that brought life back into the gaming community. Don't mind my stuttering. I'm just freeballing it right now about improvising what I'm talking about. I didn't even want to talk about this. And you can all thank the TurboGrafx 16 for saving the life of video game as you know it today, because the game just got so bad from the Atari that people were just outraged that they were spending good money on freaking terrible games. And when this came out, people were flabbergasted. Like, their minds were blown about how awesome. We may think this looks terrible. Half of these games, more than half of these games look horrible. But if you go back to, say, PlayStation 1, when you thought those were awesome, the graphics and stuff, you can go back now and just go, oh, I'm gonna puke just by looking at it. But the TurboGrafx 16 was a 16-bit processor in there, which was fantastic. The music, the sound effects, the explosions, the visual colors were fantastic compared to what Atari offered. And it was the only system at that time to have a 16-bit processor. And the reason why the TurboGrafx was not hyped up, because it was pretty expensive at the time, and also due to Atari's foolishness. Not just Atari, but the people who were making games for Atari, and Atari that let them out into the public. A lot of people lost their trust in video games and just decided to stop it and didn't want to buy them. And that's why not a lot of people got to play the TurboGrafx 16. And it brought life back into the gaming community, and people who played the TurboGrafx 16 then went on to play the Nintendo, and they said, hey, these video games are something else, you gotta give them a try. And then when Nintendo came out, they had these huge games like Mario. Just Mario alone, people are like, that is the best game ever. But I can name off like 10 TurboGrafx 16 games that are yet 4 years older than Mario, that are about a billion times funner, harder, and more challenging. But my channel, what I'm here to tell you guys is, my channel will be about showcasing games. It'll be a 6-minute video about, per se, a game. Like this one, this is Dungeon Explorers. You start off in a tavern, and you go through, and you kill bosses. You can pick different champions. They do all different types of things, and you go through, and you have to find your way through. You're clueless. There's a storyline behind it if you go up to the north and talk to the king, but I'm just going to be showcasing games. 6-minute videos-ish. I may not commentary, I may commentary, but then for my guides, it'll be a full guide for the game about how to beat it, and then I'll maybe make a second guide about all of the secrets for the game, like Bonk. I can tell you where every single super minigame is. And I've already made a complete guide for Legendary Axe where it just shows me defeating the whole entire game. It's split up into 8 parts because I don't know why. That's just how it came out, and I already did Bonk too. So those are full guides of the game of me beating it, and I will also be doing, as I said, showcases. And then if I really get into this, I've been on and off for about 2 years, as you could tell from my Mike Tyson videos where I was using a different screen recorder and it sounded like I was using a typewriter, someone commented, which I thought was funny. But yeah, I might go back into Nintendo games. I might go back into I may start Sega games. I used to have a Sega, never got into it. The only thing I remember was playing Sonic and Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was amazing. They had a video game for it. In most shows and cartoons, their video games blow, but this one was well thought out. The maps were fantastic and everything for Ren and Stimpy. I will go back into Sega for sure, just for that game alone, and make a whole guide on it. And then I might even hit Game Boy games. May even hit PlayStation 1 games, because I can think of a few off the top of my head that are cool. Star Wars Galaxies or something like that. It was a fighter game like Tekken, but with the classical Star Wars heroes. And there was also Crash Bandicoot games that are fantastic. But I'm mainly focusing on the TurboGrafx 16 because I want to show you guys my passion about how awesome these games are. And I'm running a Magic Engine emulator right now. I could do saves and loads, and I have all these ROMs. I haven't even seen half of them yet. I just got this I've got this like a few years ago, and I just haven't messed around with it. They have hundreds of games in here, and 50% of them are all in Chinese. Like if I go PC Kid 2, which is Bonk 2, but in Japanese. Oh, I have the English version of Bonk as well. Bonk, bonk, bonk. It's all at B. And there's actually difference, like the enemies look different and stuff in Japan and whatnot. It's just a lot of games. Most of these games are crap. Like I could show you this one. Drop off. You have to beat apples. It's like Brick Break, but there's nothing to it. Like, I don't know what this is. And you have a button that throws the apples back up there, and it's very difficult. I think it's very garbage. But I'm going to end it on a good note by showing you, if I could think of it, I could show you JJ and Jeff or Keith. I'm going to go with JJ and Jeff. One of the hardest games I could think of, and I have beaten it for the TurboGrafx, one of the hardest games. Your guy, a detective or something, you're on a case. I don't know the storyline because I haven't read it. You basically collect coins. You can use the coins for slot machines. The slot machines give you bonus health, bonus life. There's secrets. It's just one of those games where if you don't jump correctly, you're gonna die. Like, there's little ledges where they're about a millimeter thick, like half the size, like 1/4 the size of this thing. You have to jump on them. And yeah, and there's also impossible jumps, where if you don't jump at the right time, like if you don't wait till the last second and then jump, or you'll just miss it. And this, like this, what do I do here? You have to kick the stump, because the reason why is you're stumped. You don't know what to do. I'll do guides on stuff like this. And that was me telling you about my channel. I'm hoping to do all this stuff. If you guys would like, if you want any immediate guides, like say I want a whole guide on Legendary Axe 2, I will do the whole guide. If you leave the comments in the section below and ask for it, I'm not going to be like those people that say subscribe, like, blah 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 blah. just watch my videos. You don't have to subscribe. I don't care. But I'm gonna end this now at 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So I'm US Merchant 101. Have a good day.